Welcome to Safety is Everywhere YouTube channel.
Dear friends, don't forget to subscribe this channel and share the link with your safety professional friends.
Welcome. Today we will discuss failure mode and effect analysis. This will take some time. It is not possible to complete by half an hour. So, it will require more than 1 hour. So, that is why what happened today in next 20 minutes of time, I will just discuss that what is failure mode and how to identify the failure modes and obviously the methodology for failure mode and effect analysis. I will give you one example. So, the source is the published research assessment by Komamoto and Henley, and I will show you one example. That example we have taken from the net internet source, and just could not find out the this one the exact source, but it is a very good example, and we will try to find out figure out where from it has come from, and then we will definitely include add here and we will mention. So, now what is failure mode? Failure mode and effect analysis is a very important hazard identification and analysis technique, which is used very much in particularly in equipment failure case. So, if you recall my earlier lecture, I just told that hazard can be process related, hazard can be equipment hazard or machinery, hazard can be human hazard, software hazard. So, like this. Now, if I say process means a continuous process kind of things, if hazard is king in this case, then for equipment and machinery related that hazard analysis case FMEA is the king or the queen. By saying this, I am not saying that FMEA will not be used for under process or human or software cases, or vice versa, that hazard cannot be modified to use in equipment related analysis. It is possible, but more often what happen, we use FEMA when we talk about the equipment related hazard analysis or hazard identification. Now, in failure mode and effect analysis, one of the important concept is called failure modes. So, we will slowly we'll first discuss failure modes, then we'll go slowly to the effect and the causes, and finally, the methodology or procedure that will be adopted to conduct the failure mode and effect analysis in today's lecture. Failure modes mean the ways that an element of a system can fail to achieve its intended function. Please keep in mind that intended function is very important one every time we are saying, because either a system, subsystem or component, whatever we have basically developed, these are for certain purposes. So, that is what is the intended function. Even a component for a valve, it has intended function. So, now valve can fail, a switch can fail, a motor can fail, human fail. So, there are like process fail, equipment fail, human fail, software fail. So, everywhere there is a way it will, there is different ways it will fail. Okay. So, every way is a mode. So, that is why the ways an element of a system can fail is the failure modes. For example, switch, all of you know electrical switch. So, switch you want to close it, but it remain open, that is also failure mode. And on the other hand, suppose you want to open the switch, but it is in closed mode. So, similarly, something partially open, partially closed, maybe something more you can add here. Now, motor fails to start, fails off while running, start prematurely, operates too long, operates at degraded torque or rotational speed. These are the motor failure mode. If you say pump, it will be similarly pump failure mode will be also similar, because pump itself also a motor. Now, human failure mode. Human fails to perform a given task, perform task in wrong sequence, performs an additional task, performs the wrong task. Okay. So, perform the wrong task. You are asked to you are asked to clean the floor, and suppose you have cleaned the outdoor instead of the floor indoor. So, something like this wrong task you have performed. Additional task, I ask you to prepare a PPT for FMEA, and you have also added in between FTA, and you made my job complicated because these two are not the same thing. So, perform task in the wrong sequence. Obviously, if you know that suppose you are doing a project and it has different activities to be performed, and those activities to be performed in sequence, there is some precedence relationship. If you do not follow the precedence relationship, and then either you will not be able to do the work, or even if you do the work, that will not be useful. So, in that sense, there are many other examples which can be quoted here, that the ways a component or an element of a system fails, that is what is failure modes. Suppose if you see in PHA, we have discussed the missile system, missile system, and we have given you that the missile head. So, you have seen that the missile head, how it fails, different structural failure also we have discussed. That is failure mode of that missile head. Similarly, in case of pump pressure tank system, there that tank rupture can be a failure mode. Okay. Although it is a huge one, it is not a simple one. A tank rupture causes lot of things, that is also failure mode. So, there can be relation between failure mode and deviations, but usually we do not go for this kind of relation. We use in different context, HAZOP and FME. In HAZOP, more of process parameters, their deviation, and in FMEA it is more of the hardware part, every component or the part of a component, how they are going to fail, and that is what is basically discussed here. So, if you want to do FMEA, you have to first break down the system up to component and part level. That is very important, because FMEA used usually at the component level. So, there are three kinds of approaches. One is hardware approach, bottom up approach. Bottom up approach means when every component of the system must be reviewed. Functional approach, hardware cannot be uniquely identified, may be the issue, or system complexity requires progressive analysis. What happens if we go for, suppose in the pressure tank system, so a component wise when you go, you have already seen that component wise the pressure tank, pressure gauge, relief valve, alarm, the pump, the timer, the contact, the switch, the electric, all those things. But you see pump is getting command from the circuit. So, there is some relationship. So, many a times what happen, if we consider only one component, then the dependent relationship with other component of the system may not be understood properly, and in that case your analysis may not be that strong enough from analysis point of view, not from identification of failure modes point of view. So, that is why it is written that system complexity requires progressive analysis. Okay. So, there may be situation when you require to go for functional breaking up. Now, the last one is that many times what happens, sometimes you combine the two, so that hardware approach and your functional approach, or bottom up approach or top down approach, and then you make a hybrid approach. Maybe you divide the system into subsystem, for some subsystem go for hardware bottom up approach, somewhere top down functional approach, because it is necessary to do. to have better understanding of the failure modes in a system. So, this is what is our hardware approach, that is bottom up approach. You see what happened, a system can have subsystem, then can have subsystem, then in these subsystems different components and finally parts. So, we are interested in failure modes here. You consider part 1, part 2, part 3 like this every part and find out how this part will fail, how this part will fail, how this part will fail. Then these 3 part in combination will talks about failure mode of the component. Now, for this subsystem, these 2 component failure modes will be subsystem failure modes, and then ultimately these 2 subsystem failure mode will be the subsystem failure mode will be the subsystem failure mode, and this side another failure modes will come from this side, and finally you will have a big list of failure modes of the system. So, it may so happen that all the failure modes, component level failure modes may not lead to the part level failure mode, may not lead to component or may not lead to subsystem level failure mode. So, when we do component hardware breakup, we basically are interested to know at the bottom level what are the failure modes and the detail modes we want to identify. Now, the relation between that when the sum of the failure modes finally leads to the higher level failure, that is a different issue. Okay. Then you see that what is the approach with reference to that hardware approach, an example. The example is here. We are talking about an example is it is a compressor air system. What is it? Actually, here is the receiver. Actually, I can say it is similar to the pressure tank. That what happened? It stores the compressed air, and this compressed air is used by line of pneumatic equipment. Now, this compressed air it is to be with a certain pressure range, and it should be moisture free, and as a result there are 2 other function. F1 is provide compressed air with the desired pressure level, and F2 it remove the moisture from this. So, that means the air what will be stored here, it should be of 100 psig pressure as well as it is moisture free, because this equipment require the air with this pressure and moist free air. This is basically what is the total system. Now, I will show you the hardware approach of breaking it down. This example we have taken from some sources, and that is what I say that could not locate this source. If anybody know, please mail me in the discussion that what is the source, then so that next time I can add this. So, now what happened if I go by the hardware approach, bottom up approach, my totality is compressed air system. You see that compressor subsystem, drying subsystem, distribution subsystem, 3 things. Air coming to the compressor, compressed to required pressure, then dry coming to the dryer, it is dried, then going to the distribution system in the receiver and going to the pneumatic machines. So, compressor system have intake filtration subsystem, compressor subsystem. Drying system, there is no further subsystem, straightway the that component level, and distribution system also component level. Now, intake filtration subsystem, rain cap, filter, pressure gauge piping, compressor subsystem like this compressor, control loop, relief valve, piping, and these things. So, you can see these things if we go, suppose rain cap, filter, pressure gauge and piping, you see this is the case. So, rain cap, filter, pressure gauge, and obviously all those piping. This is basically that intake system. Okay. Intake filtration subsystem. Now, if you say compressor subsystem, compressor, control loop, relief valve, piping, you see compressor subsystem, that is compressor, pressure control, relief valve, piping, relief valve and pipelines are there. So, in that way the breaking up has taken place. So, you are breaking down the total compressor subsystem into components. Now, you will be interested to know the failure modes of these many components. Okay. So, let us see that what are those failure modes. I am just showing you for one subsystem which is basically compressor subsystem. And you have already seen that in compressor subsystem what are the component? One is compressor, pipe, pressure control, relief valve. Now, FME is also a team game. So, your team will have design knowledge, system knowledge, hazard knowledge and obviously experience, that also counts. So, what happen if you have design knowledge and hazard knowledge, all those knowledge, then what happen, you will be able to find out that what is happening there, what kind of failure modes that could happen there. One is the compressor case external leak, external rupture, fails to start, fails off while running, start prematurely, operates too long, operates at degraded head and flow performance too fast and too slow. So, similarly, pressure pipe case, external leak, external rupture, plugged, pressure control fails with no output signal, fails with low output signal, fails with high output signal, fails to respond to an input change, spurious outputs, then external leak, external rupture, plugged, fails to open on demand, fails to reset, opens prematurely, close prematurely. So, all those things related to relief valve. Okay. So, this is very exhaustive, if not exhaustive, it is a very good list, and this I have taken from that source, and I have developed this long back. So, I will tell my scholar to find out the resource, because I tried a lot, but I could not get it. So, now what I mean to say here, that once you have done that breakdown system breakdown structure, so you have gone up to the component level. For every component you find out the failure modes, then a list of failure modes will be identified. Once you have that list, you can do the failure mode and effect analysis. Okay. So, I will discuss this failure mode and effect analysis. So, I hope that you got this. Let me repeat this system breakdown structure, that this one bottom up approach and top down approach. This is bottom up approach, then this is the example I have given you, and this is what is basically the with reference to the compressor system. And then we have seen that compressor, particularly this one, the compressor subsystem I considered, and these 4 component, their failure modes are identified. Okay. So, similarly, if you take any other system, your own system you take and break into this manner, then what, and finally find out all the components, and then see that what the failure modes, most of the time the failure modes will be available in open source. Okay. So, maybe from reliability handbook also you can find out the failure modes, otherwise your team must be able to find out the failure modes. Okay. So, once you have failure modes, then what is the step? The methodology means doing failure mode and effect analysis. What is the methodology? Identify all failure modes. Like if you are interested to develop go for failure mode and effect analysis of the compressor subsystem, then there are 4 components, and for every component all failure modes are identified. So, a list is available. Now, consider a potential failure mode. Maybe from your experience, or the team will find that even though there are 50 such failure modes, maybe 20 failure modes are potential modes, other may be trivial. So, you consider a potential failure mode. Then 3 important things you have to do. One is, if failure occurs in that mode, what is the effect? What is the consequence that is going to have? So, this will talk about severity. For example, in this case, in this particular case, so if you see that external rupture, so the compressor rupture, what will happen? Will not create a huge thing. So, in that case severity will be high, other cases severity will be low. You getting me? So, that means for every failure mode, if that failure mode happens, what are the effects that you identify? From those effects, you will be able to determine the severity level. We will discuss in the next class the different scales to find out the define severity, probability and consequences. Okay. Then the second one, that for every failure mode, you find out the causes, why that failure mode happens. So, if the failure mode occurs, what will happen? That is the effect. Why that failure mode occurs? That is the cause. The cause will give you the probability. Cause will give you the probability. Effect will give you the severity. Cause will give you the probability. But in addition, another important one which is not considered in traditional risk analysis, when we say risk equal to P cross C, probability and consequence, means these two, probability and severity. But the other one is important one is the detectability. Failure modes have happened, a component failure happens, but is your system is able to identify that that failure mode has happened. So, this is very important and that is known as the detectability of the system. There is an external leak, there is leakage of gas, let it be, the valve is choked, but is it so that your system is configuration is such that you are able to detect that that particular failure mode has occurred. So, that is possible when you identify the current condition and design verification process. So, if you do this, what you will find out that you will understand what is the detectability of your system towards the failure mode occurrence. So, this lead to detectability. So, that means then we are calculating risk, but not in this formula. We are saying RPN means risk priority number. Priority number RPN. So, instead of R we are writing RPN, which is multiplication of these three, that severity, probability and detectability. For every failure mode you find out this RPN. Now, when we discuss the scale for detectability, severity and probability, you will find out that how this multiplication is done, why this multiplication is done also. Okay. So, that part we will be discussing later, but suppose you have given a scale of severity, probability and detectability separately for a particular failure mode, all three values are there, then you will find out the RPN for this failure mode. So, what happened? All potential failure modes RPN will be identified. And then what happen in between, what you will do, you will see that whether RPN value is significant or not, means it is high or it is beyond certain value. So, that it is a potential one, it should be considered. Then what happen, you basically talks about action point for improvement, like in HAZOP what you have done, you say once the causes consequences are known, you are basically recommending something so that this thing will not happen. Similarly, for every potential failure modes, you have to identify the actions for improvement, whether the either improvement in terms of probability of occurrence, in terms of severity of the failure modes, in terms of detectability when the failure modes has occurred. So, in either of the three or in combination, you tell what is the actions to be taken. And then what happened, for every failure mode when you do, you just say that whether any other failure mode left. If yes, take the next one and repeat this process. If no, document this. So, what is the FMEA documentation, that also we will discuss in the next class. So, this is what is basically the methodology, or other way I can say that failure mode and effect analysis. I am not giving you any example of all calculations, but we will be discussing those things in the next class. And for the time being, you please understand that failure mode and effect analysis is a very useful hazard identification analysis technique, and it is used almost everywhere, but it is more suited when we are talking about equipment or machinery related failure. It is comparable to other analysis like HAZOP, and it is also applied in other areas apart from safety, like in case of quality, that Six Sigma and all other cases. Even in the business risk analysis also, this failure mode and effect analysis is used. You should not forget that it is a team game. You must have the, from safety engineering point of view, you must have the design knowledge, you must have the hazard knowledge, you must have experience gathered in terms of doing failure mode and effect analysis, or in terms of the failure modes at what already has taken place, and then you require to calculate the severity, the probability and detectability for all the failure modes, and then you must compute the RPN, and through RPN only you will be able to prioritize the failure mode, and for every failure mode, potential failure mode, the actions must be suggested. The actions can be in terms of reducing severity, reducing probability, and improving detectability. Thank you very much.